Hello YouTube. In this video I'll show you guys how to scrap these 4 computers. The first 3 from going from left to right are all desktop models, and the one on the very right is a server. So we're going to go one at a time on each of these and show you what's inside. So first order of business is to remove the case. In this case, the case has already been removed, and it's one of those 3-sided cases that remove 3 sides of the actual prism, which is the actual computer, the top and the sides. So now we want to put it on the side here, and we'll first need to do one thing, which is just remove all of the cables that we can spot. And some of these cables go to hard drives, floppy drives, and other various components. And these, oh, that just came off. I don't know, here's a card. This card here has some nice gold plating, and you can fill this in with your gold plated cards. And all of the pins are gold plated, which is nice, which you cannot see on the camera, but they're all gold plated. Yeah, I can't see that. Oh well. Yeah, you can see that. It's shining yellow. So these are all gold plated, which is pretty nice. Yeah. So we're just going to keep on removing more of these wires that go to various components and parts on the board, and it appears that we are just about done. And there we go. That's pretty much all the wires that have been freed, except for these here. And done. Okay, so next thing we want to do is remove the power supply. All we have to do is just flip the whole unit upside down and remove these 4 screws. They're pretty rusty. But yeah, these steels, if they're not rusty, you can sell these online. People do buy these, and you can sell them like 100 a unit. That you make some pretty good money. These are basically like the screws that you would screw into a motherboard. These mounting screws. They can be sold for a pretty good amount of money, since scrap prices are so low recently. At the time of this recording, it's at 2 cents a pound, which is terrible. But if not, you can always sell it as steel. Okay, so we've pretty much taken out this power supply. And it looks like there's one wire that does not want to be, basically doesn't want to be moved. So just going to use some brute force. And there we go. So this is a power supply. You can try to sell these online if they're still in good shape, or you can scrap them yourselves. And a third way is just to sell it as is in power supplies or in steel. Just cut off the wiring. Inside there's just a couple of aluminum heat sinks, some wiring, and that's pretty much it. So next what I like to do is remove the cards. These can usually be just pulled out with some force, but sometimes you have to unscrew them, which I do right here. There's just one screw holding it in, and then after that it's pretty much just wait, that's the wrong way. That's pretty much Simple, you just pull it straight out. And just pull it straight up. There we go. So this card has some chips here. A main IC chip, of course your gold fingers, which are nice, and your gold plated connectors, and your IDE pins. Those can all be sold separately or put in your cards. And then just pull out the second one, which Kingston Technology. I don't really know what this is. It looks like a modem port with a little antenna. I don't know. Interesting. Anyways, it goes with your cards as well. Also some nice gold plating there. A couple chips. Some monolithic ceramics. That's pretty much it. So now we've removed all the cards out of that one. That's pretty much all we can do for that section. Except there's one tiny little card that's on board here. I don't really know what it is. But it's nice. Has some gold plating, and also some nice gold plating on the actual board as well. Has 3 chips here. I'm really not so sure what this is. I'll have to look it up. Interesting. But anyway, those kind of interesting cards you may want to try to sell on eBay, but since I touched it, this was out in the rain, it's pretty much useless to sell. So I'll put this in with my RAM or cards. Now we're going to remove the RAM, or the memory. This basically provides you to open up programs and various things and have enough memory and, I guess, yeah, memory to run applications. So basically this is a special kind of RAM called SIM, Single Inline Memory Module. Oh gosh, the picture's terrible. Fortunately, it's not very good camera, but it's a bit better than the other one. But yeah, as you can tell, it looks a bit different. These are actually held in by clips, but it's a different kind of clip. It's like a metal clip. Then instead of it being on the sides, it's in front, but on the sides. Basically, you have to pull back the clip, and then it slides forward. I don't know, it's strange. We're going to do that on the other. There we go. See, as you can tell, the connectors are not gold plated, they're actually silver or tin plated. They're not silver, they're just silver colored. But they're actually tin plated connectors. So you can't really sell these with your regular RAM. This is silver tipped RAM. And you do the same. Kind of pull back on both sides. There you go. That's pretty much it. So you got yourself 2 RAM sticks. And now I'm going to go ahead and remove the drives. There's 2 floppy disk drives. One here and the other there. So just basically remove the screws that hold it in place. I don't know, but I can hear my camera focusing a lot, so I apologize if you hear that in here. But yeah, you basically remove the screws and you push out and push towards the front instead of through the back. Yeah, there's a floppy disk drive. And repeat on the other. This time there's actually 3 screws holding it in place instead of 2. And don't worry, I'm not going to show you what's inside the 3 computers, only the very 4th one, which is the server, because all these computers are pretty much taken apart the same way. As you can tell, there's another one. It's by Connor. Interesting. But yeah, it also has ordinary IDE pin connector. And oh yeah, and then the 2 hard drives. It's interesting because instead of 1 like you normally see, there's actually 2, which is unusual. But it's nothing too big of a deal. A lot of people choose to have 2 hard drives instead of 1. But yeah, here's the front. There's a couple LEDs if you want, you can try to remove them, but they're not really worth it in my opinion. There's also a couple there's a lock right there, and then there's also something that's reminiscent of the olden days, a turbo button. Nice little turbo button. A reset switch and a power switch. You cannot find those 3 buttons on a ordinary computer today. I mean, you have the power switch, but that's pretty much it. You don't have those 3 together at once. So yeah. Also, there's a little turbo light right there. There's the processor light and the power light. It's neat. Okay, so yeah, to remove these hard drives, all we gotta do is just remove 1 screw. It should only have 1 screw. Oh, there's 2 hiding right there. I bet there's 2 on the other side as well. Yep. So basically we just remove these 4 screws, and that's pretty much it. There we go. A Western Digital Caviar 21200 or 21200. And it doesn't say when it was made, but it was made in 1996. That's neat. And it has 1281.9 megabytes. Very small amount. Now we're up into terabytes, but this one is only a 1281.9 megabyte drive, which is small. We also want to remove the other hard drive, which is a bit easier to get to, as it only needs 2 screws to be removed. That's another one. This one's actually a 11200 instead of a 21200. This one has the same amount, 1281.9 megabytes, made in 1997, which is a year later. But yeah, so we got ourselves 2 hard drives from that one piece. Now, back to the main board here. Kind of moving this huge mess of wiring. These wires may have some gold plating on the back of each of these connectors. So every time you take apart a computer, look at the connectors, because they may have gold. And in this case, each one of these connectors has gold plating on it. So you want to snip off all those connectors and put them to the side with your gold plated connectors, because it will be worth money. And now we're getting down to the nitty gritty here. So before I want to get to this motherboard, I want to remove all these pesky wires here. So we're going to strip them off. And so yeah, these are all gold plated as well. So now we're able to get to the good part here, which is the actual motherboard. So it appears that there's only a few screws that we have to remove, unlike some of the motherboards that have all of the screws on each and every hole. These only have a few of them. So yeah, we remove all of these itty bitty little screws. This should give us access to be able to remove this motherboard. It's not coming off. Brute force. There we go. Anyway, so this ready to get cut, and I didn't. That's good. Anyway, so we got this motherboard off here. Each one of these connectors has gold plating, except for the RAM because that's silver tipped. And that as well. And then we got all these additional memory chips. Those don't have any gold plating in it. There's a lot of these IDE connectors, all these little pins. They all have gold plating. And we got ourselves our Intel Pentium processor. This looks like it may have a nice Intel Pentium 60 MHz one in a socket 7. So to remove that, all we gotta do is just pull back on the little lever. When we do that, it should come right off. Looks like there's an Intel Pentium processor. I don't know what type. Let's see. Looks like it's an overclocked processor. It's a closer look. Yeah, we can see it says Intel 1992-1993. I don't know what kind of processor it is. It's an Intel Pentium, however, so that's nice. So yeah, we can try to sell this fan on the top here that's made for Intel Pentium processors, and we can make some money on that. Put that to the side, and yeah, socket 7. Nothing too crazy. And when you sell the motherboards, be sure you remove any chips on board as well as a battery, because the batteries are considered hazardous material and you want to pull it off. So to do that, basically get ourselves our flathead or slotted and just pull at the tip underneath the battery, and we can remove our lithium battery. That is a Toshiba CR2032. And if it works, which you can test with a spare LED, if it lights up, you can use these in your own electronics. Like car garage openers use these. Take, for example, a Genie garage door opener. As you can tell, it uses the same kind of battery as mine that I just pulled out. So these can be useful to be reused and recycled if you can't reuse it, or sold. So yeah, that's pretty much all that's inside a old computer. Not that much, but hey, something. We got ourselves our speakers, but I can pretty much remove that off screen. You just have to pull back on some tabs, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So I hope you found that interesting. That's a reset switch. That's useful. Found that interesting and useful, and I'll be back whenever I finish scrapping the other two computers, and I'll show you what I got in comparison. Until then, see you next time. Alright, so here are what we've gotten in our 3 computers. So on this first one, we got the most stuff. We got that nice ceramic CPU there. We got ourselves an interesting board, a nice motherboard, 2 RAM sticks, a couple connectors that were just on the back. Remember all those wires that were in the way earlier? Well, those were what it was connected to. 2 hard drives, a power supply, 2 floppy drives, a whole bunch of wiring, plastic. So my shed is in the way. And 3 cards, a whole bunch of screws, and some more wiring and some more plastic. So that was what was in the first tower that I showed you on camera. Well, here's the second one. Still pretty good. We got ourselves a nice motherboard, computer fan with a heatsink, and we got ourselves another ceramic CPU. This one appears to be a Cyrix M2, I believe. Yeah, it's an M2. Nice. Old. Kind of hard to find CPU. They were in a lot of compacts. Got a RAM stick, 2 cards, a motherboard. We got ourselves, it looks like, a hard drive, a floppy drive, and a CD drive. A whole bunch of screws, some wiring, and a power supply. Some more plastic. So that was in what was in the second computer tower. And the third one, the most newest of the 3. Where was also a really crappy purple motherboard, 1 RAM stick, 1 green fiber CPU, it's an AMD, Athlon, up here, appears to be Athlon. The camera can't focus. Oh well. It's making a lot of noises. A card, a CPU, motherboard, I always said that. Some metal there. There's a hard drive, 2 CD drives, and a power supply, and a whole bunch of wiring. And what was nice about these modern ones that you could try to sell are USB front panel connectors. These are pretty good, I think. These may sell pretty well, I'm not so sure. I'll see what happens, and hopefully it sells. If not, I'll just scrap it. There's some wiring, a little board sometimes, and just some connectors. And yeah, so that's pretty much all that's inside those 3. But I'm not forgetting that one server, this nice big Dell PowerEdge. Oh man, that's a lot of bad pictures when it's in the dark. Oh well. Yeah, and I think there's one blue flashing pixel at the top. Near the very top left hand corner, there's like a flashing blue pixel. You can see right about there. There's a flashing blue pixel. Oh well, I'll have to get a better camera for that. Anyway, so now I'm going to mount this onto my tripod, and hopefully we'll have enough, let's say, time to record me taking apart this main server here. This server should have some pretty good stuff in it. I looked at the back. There's no hard drives, unfortunately, which you can sell pretty well on eBay. We can see there's a lot of cards being used, so we should get some pretty good stuff out of it. And there's a whole bunch of there's power supply right there, a big fan, a couple other stuff. Anyway, this paired up with the previous video about what was inside a Dell Power Vault. That was for data management for this server. So yeah, So let's begin. Make sure whenever you're scrapping a server that if you don't have the key, make sure it's in the unlocked position. It is already in the unlocked position when I got it. It was like $6.99, but it was half off that day at the sushi shop, so I got it for $4.50, which I thought was a pretty good deal because it had a lot of goodies in it. So anyway, our goal is to push on the side tabs, and basically it all swings out. So yeah, this is going to be complicated. I'm gonna move that. This is plastic. Now maybe you want to sell that on eBay because that's a faceplate for a server, which may make some good money. Move this phone out of the way. Anyway, so first thing we need to do is we need to remove the screws that are on the side here. I don't need to use a screwdriver, I just use my fingers. These are nice thumb screws. If you find thumb screws and they're removable, sell them on eBay. Some of these run on springs, so you may not be able to, sell them. That's nice. There's a little guide on how to take things apart. This will be useful. And then I'll repeat on the other side. Remove these three on the back as well. Yeah, I tried using this, but it was messed up. It was corrupt hard drives. Not corrupt hard drives. This would be pointless to use. This didn't have hard drives, but had some corrupt software on it. It said there were problems with it. I wouldn't install an operating system on it at all. So yeah, this thing was pretty much dead. That's strange. Let's put this to the side. That's really tough. Looks like I'll just have to use some brute force. Put it back. There we go. Anyway, going back to where I was, doesn't appear to be any screws to move right now. Let's see. I'll keep it this way for now. And we got ourselves a weird backplane connector. That's interesting. Anyway, the ends are gold plated, so you want to save those. Or you could sell that backplane connector on eBay. Server material, and server material usually is good money. So, first thing I want to do is really tricky. I don't even know where to start. I'm just going to start by removing this front power and, I guess, this indicator board here. There's just one screw. Slides out, and the wire isn't movable. So I just have to snip it. So this board here is a low-grade board. Nothing gold plated relating to on there. So next, I'm going to remove this top piece here. There appears to be one screw on the left side, and another screw on the other. Oh man, that camera's noisy. Sorry about that. It's the best I could have for this situation. Plus the camera quality is a bit lower, but I should be able to actually make video edits on these. So hopefully I should make better content. Okay, so it looks like I've pretty much removed everything I can remove that's important on the front. There's just metal strip here, has nothing connecting it to the back. So let's turn it to the side, where all the goodies are. Lots of goodies. Let's take a closer look at that eye candy there. You see there's a lot of stuff going on. We got ourselves 4 RAM sticks, 2 processors, no hard drive unfortunately, that would be great. We've got some cards, and just in general a lot of drives. So this should be nice. This should be a nice teardown. So I'll just set it like so. You may see my arm again, or my face. Don't worry, I won't kill you. You see my face? Anyway, there we go. I just removed this piece, which had 2 little tabs that held this in place, kind of like a RAM connector. So you just push that, that, and that. Everything's 0 insertion force, so it's pretty. It's better for the connector, the computer, so it doesn't get a chance of bending the pins. So there you go. There's also some wire connectors. These are gold plated, so you want to snip that off and put it with your gold plated connectors, or process them yourself. In this case, I'll be processing them myself. Looks like there's a board here which has 1 little screw. Seems to be no more screws, but it's not coming out. Why? Anyway, I'll get to that later. Here we got ourselves, looks like a SCSI backplane. So this board is also connected with a special screw. Slides out, and there we go. There's a backplane. This is considered motherboard grade. We see there's a lot of chips and various things. We'll take a closer look at that later. Now I'm just going to pull out pretty much connectors and such that are in the way. Servers are a lot easier to take apart, and you get a lot more goodies too. So everything's like trying to make it easy and fast for a person to fix. Okay. Basically, all servers are just a much more complex computer. It's not going to come out. I'll just use a pair of wire cutters. Fixed. Okay, now there's this a bit of a sticky situation. So I'm just basically removing 2 big screws that hold the primary Pentium 3 processor in place. As you can tell, these are special screws that have holes in the middle that are hollow at one end, but not completely hollow. That hold the processor in place. Anyways, not coming out. Oh, there's some screws. Okay. Now I'm just gonna remove this. Take out. And I'm just going to remove out the RAM. It's just like a standard RAM removal procedure. Just pull on the tabs on the ends and pull them out. There you go, 4 RAM sticks. Now, to remove these cards, they're a bit tricky. I'm guessing I have to stick a flathead in there, because they're all operating on tabs. This is a bit tricky. Yeah? Yeah? Okay. So we're going to remove these cards. I'll be right back. Alright, there we go. So, sorry about the interruption. I had to talk to my dad real quick. Anyway, so there's one card. It's pretty nice. There's another card. That's 2. There's the third one. Nice. And the 4th one. Pretty cool. This has a RAM stick. This is SimRAM. You just push on these little metal tabs. Then with the other hand, pull out. And it looks like a special kind of RAM. I don't know what kind. But we could say it's an Intel i960 processor that's on board, not in a socket. Pretty cool. Anyway, next order of business. Removing the 2 processors. These are tricky, but I think if I just use a screwdriver, magically remove the screws, it should come out. And that comes out, and this comes out. There we go. Looks like a pretty empty, unpopulated with only a little bit of monolithic ceramics and 2 regular capacitors. Out comes 1 card. It's kind of like a, I don't know, some kind of spacer. Just that since there's nothing there, let's put something there anyway. But I don't know. There we go. Looks like a Intel Pentium 2 processor. There we go. Yeah, that autofocus sound is really annoying. I can hear it. Oh yeah, and I found out that I just pull up and out, and there we go. We got ourselves a little low-grade board. Lots of indicator lights. Our Sosa Gold plate connector. Now we're pretty much almost done with this thing. Now next step is to possibly pull out this fan. It's not going to come out easily. Oh well, I'll do that off screen. Next, we need to remove 2 CD drives. I don't know how I'm supposed to remove those, but we'll try. looks like there are these two tabs that hold it in place, and it just inches out. That's nice. That's convenient. Just push on these little tabs, and it just comes straight out. Look at this one. This is another. Looks like a tape drive. That's cool. Anyway, I could sell that on eBay. So yeah, I'll probably have a video on taking this thing apart, because I want to show you guys instead of selling it on eBay, just to show you an unusual piece of electronics. Interesting. Anyway. Looks like... Ooh, that's loud. We're going to now remove this wonderful little thing that we call a power supply unit. Basically, I'm just going to use two screws, and the power supply unit will come straight out. That's our power supply unit. Pretty bulky, but nothing special. Just a 330 watt power supply. It's nothing like 700 watts. So, yeah. Pretty simple. We're literally down to the bare bones of this thing. All we gotta do is just remove this floppy drive. I just use a screwdriver and remove one screw in the front, which should make the rest of it come straight out. Tilted it a little bit, and there we go. Our floppy drive is out. Looks like there's some kind of connector. Just remove this screw, and out comes the connector, hopefully. Oh, it's a little micro switch. I don't know what that goes for. Interesting. Little micro switch. Now, the last thing to remove is the motherboard. This is achieved by removing a couple screws all around the motherboard. There's our main board. It's massive. Massive board. There you go. So this board comes out. That was a lot of work, but this board weighs a lot and should give us some good money. There's another lithium CR23 coin cell battery. These are not silver oxide, by the way, like what some people say on YouTube that are. They're not. They're just ordinary 2032 lithium cells. Because lithium cells have a lithium metal inside. There's going to be terminals inside the battery, and if you were to get that lithium, which comes in a kind of a solid paste, if you put that in water, it fumes up into hydrogen, as well as making lithium hydroxide in the water. So silver does not do that. What I'm guessing I have to remove next is the 4 little screws in the center. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that way I can get the board out that way. I'll have to move that later. Anyway, so yeah, this is pretty much what's inside this big, bulky board with a lot of chips in. All those yellow things are all tantalum capacitors, which you can remove off the board either with a heat gun or a chisel and hammer, or even just some wire cutters if you're lucky enough. Those can be sold and get about $90 a pound, which is nice. Lots of connectors. All these connectors are all gold plated. Each and every one of these. A couple of other various parts. Lots of chips. So this will be a very nice board to process. And of course, I'll show you what's on that back plane. Here we got ourselves some connectors that have gold plating. Lots of yellow boxes, which are all those tantalum capacitors that I was talking about just a while ago. Lots of chips, monolithic ceramics, and of course our gold plated connectors on the back, which on the front. And yeah, that's pretty much all that's inside a server. And I hope you found that interesting, and I hope you found all that information quite valuable, as there's a lot of stuff inside these computers that make it really worth it to scrap. And well, I'll see you guys later. If you found this video interesting and useful, and have a great day.